My girlfriend wants to be NBA wife. Background: girlfriend and I have been together for 2 years. We met off Bumble and overall have had a pretty good relationship. We get into fights like all couples, but we have been pretty good on resolving our differences. I work in medical device sales and I'm a pretty ambitious guy. I started my career in a call center cold calling to sell life insurance, and I have been able to make a decent bit out of myself, especially considering the fact that my parents worked in restaurants and hotels their whole life. So here is what happened. My girlfriend was on the phone with her cousin, and I was playing video games in the other room. I overheard her talking though, and I can sum it up from what I heard. What my girlfriend said. I don't know what her cousin said exactly, but it was basically that her cousin is hooking up with a guy that is in D1 in college, and my girlfriend was telling her experience dating guys. She mentioned to that when she was in college she wanted to be a NBA housewife too. That she dated guys on the basketball team, but that they all basically just wanted to sleep around and didn't want anything more. And she did date a guy in the league as well. She told me about this beforehand, but from what she told her cousin, this guy basically gave her tickets, slept with her, tried to sleep with her friend too, and left. She described it to me before as they actually dated. She told her cousin that basically she can give it a shot, but if she can't find a guy, basically to be realistic about her life too, and then said my name. By the way, when they got this far into the conversation I had completely stopped gaming, and I was just listening. Honestly, I'm disgusted by this. I knew my girlfriend dated this one guy in the NBA. I didn't realize that so much of her life revolved going to these parties, getting Snapchats, etc. And this just makes me angry. I worked so hard to move up into my life, and my girlfriend just sees me in her eyes as the realistic option when the whole NBA wife wasn't working out. And it's just offensive that she gets mad at me for the smallest things, but with her ex, because he was a D1 athlete, it's okay for him to cheat. WTF. I don't know, I'm disgusted by her, and here I was sad before, because I was going to propose to her on our trip abroad this summer in Italy, and now I find out that basically I'm the realistic option when her NBA wife goals failed. I really thought my life was an awesome story. Grew up poor, started off with an awful job, lost weight, became more confident, now have a 6-figure salary and a great girlfriend. Now to find out that basically I'm her backup plan. I don't know, I haven't been this angry before. I want to break up with her, but it's just shocking to me. I thought we were happy together, but in reality I was the backup all along. And I wonder too if it's possible for any guy she dates to even be happy with her, like who would date someone knowing they are just their realistic option. I just hate how calculated this whole thing is. Like, I thought my girlfriend was the romantic one in the relationship. I haven't said a word to her since hearing this. I just pretended that I was gaming. I don't know what to do at this point. Should I wait a bit for my anger to clear? We are living together. If we break up, do I mention I was going to propose to her? Should I tell my friends and family why we are breaking up, so that way she can't paint me as the bad guy? What should be my next steps? Reddit comments. Don't ever settle on being someone's backup plan, someone's second choice. All it takes is for someone better or more aligned with who she wants to be with for you get tossed to the side as she follows her dreams. This sort of thing does not make for a long-term relationship. Yeah, and don't let her try and talk you into patching things through. She may pull out the romantic "I'm sorry" stops to try and get you to stay, but don't commit to being a safe option. You deserve better. You have already judged her without knowing the whole conversation. She might have been telling that girl to get real and not chase something's unattainable. Has she ever slighted you or acted like she doesn't love you? Just take the time to ask her how she feels about you. So you've never had fantasies about marrying some 10 out of 10 gazillionaire? Would it be settling for a backup plan if that didn't work out and you found someone you love who doesn't fit that bill? Jesus, Reddit. There is a difference between a silly fantasy that you realize is not real and actively trying to get with every NBA 1A so you can live that life, and then when they all dump you realizing you need to settle for something less. Are you 100% clear on what she meant by be realistic about your life? The meaning that you settled on is try for a player, settle for a meal ticket. If I thought this was the case, I agree you need to say goodbye. Another possibility is girls are easy for players, so they can just use them and lose them, as she experienced. So, when you've had enough of that, find someone to love who treats you better. If I thought this was the case, I'd tell myself, okay, I'm not her first crush, but she's happier with me than she ever was with any of them. There's number 100% foolproof way to know which of these two possibilities is the right one. I'd base my decision on how she treats you. Hope this helps, and best wishes, whatever you decide. I think she might have meant the second one. Yeah, it's fun and all to dream big, but in the end, you need to be realistic about your life and goals. It'd be amazing if I could go to college and get a PhD in astrophysics, but realistically I should opt for something that'll be supportive. Those NBA boys aren't supportive and didn't do anything for her besides use her, whereas I assume you loved and cherished her, Opus. She's being realistic by dating someone that's built what they have and who appreciates her, than stars who essentially got lucky and toss women all the time. Take the time to calm down and rationalize your thoughts. Have a conversation about it. Let her explain what she meant, then go from there. Communication is everything. Please don't throw your relationship to the wind when you only heard one side of the conversation. GF is 27. She wanted to be an NBA wife in college, so she was what, 18 to 21? Most people barely know what married life even looks like then. There are exceptions, I know. When I was 21 I wanted a man who was my exact intellectual equal in both strengths and willingness to explore the philosophical mysteries of the universe. I thought no one else could ever understand me enough to make me happy. Thankfully, I never found him. We would kill each other. That doesn't mean the man I married is second best. He is intelligent, but he isn't that guy, and thank God for that. Honestly, it sounds as though she is warning her cousin about it, but if her cousin still wants to, she's giving advice. I would talk to her about it for sure, but I feel as though you are jumping to the conclusion that because she would have chosen an NBA star in college, that means she would rather be dating one now, which is not necessarily the case. Yeah, I kind of agree. Honestly, some guys are like too, right? Chasing personalities or models, and being realistic is not bad advice. And she didn't say she wasn't happy, or that he isn't enough. Exactly. It sounds like she's being like, girl, I've been there, be careful. Find yourself a reliable and great guy. Firstly, if you want to leave, you don't need anyone's permission or validation. Like, if she wore a red shirt one day and you no longer find her attractive, that's that. It doesn't matter if it's reasonable to the rest of us. However, are you the same guy you were in college when it comes to relationships? Take a good look at your GF. Is she exactly what you hoped for back then? Or has your taste evolved and your idea of relationships matured a bit or a lot since then? I can say that I'm a very different person from who I was in college. Aren't you? So your GF isn't a DDD blunt cheerleader. Maybe she's a bit thicker, a bit more down to earth, and a lot more realistic. What does that mean? Would you dump her if your college dream girl was available? Or maybe you let your ex treat you poorly. Maybe she cheated and you put up with it. Does that mean you would put up with it now? Of course not. And it's not because your current GF is less than your ex, but rather you are more mature and experienced, right? Talk to your GF if you think it will help. I have a feeling by realistic she just means she grew up and so did her taste in men. Breaking up is one of those funny things where people think you need a reason when, in fact, you often don't. Sometimes it can be as simple as being perfectly honest, but in a way that prevents any hurt feelings. You can just say, look, I've been feeling lately that we want different things in life, so it may be best that we just go our separate ways. You don't have to allude to the overheard conversation or even reference it, but just say it like it is. You cannot see a life with her. If she pushes for reasons, then you can just say that you have had a feeling for a while, that she has settled on you, and that it has made you feel like there is nothing there. I wouldn't bother about mentioning proposals or anything along those lines. It's really just twisting the dagger for no real reason aside from wanting to see her hurt, and you really don't seem like the sort of guy who would do that. The hardest thing for you to get your head around is that of how you feel about her now that you know her true intents. That love you feel for her, I guess, has just gone down the plug hole, and regardless of what you felt for her, getting that back is going to be tough. So in a way you are being honest with her by breaking up. What you felt for her has now gone. What she felt for you was never really there, so the best option for you both is to go your separate ways. She can then go off and find that person she is really looking for, and you can go off and find that person who wants you for you and not as a consolation prize. Good luck to you. Comment and subscribe.